do some sketchy shit. Do-da, do-da, hope I get away with it. Oh, the do-da day.
Hey everybody, sorry about that. Just got a email I was looking at and it sort of messed me up.
Is it
Skype,
from a Nigerian prince?
no, Skype is being discontinued this
Huh.
month.
This month, I heard they were thinking about discontinuing it because well, blame it on StreamYard, you know, because everybody does that now. Facebook, YouTube, Sky, or StreamYard and TikTok and Twitter, and everybody's got a video service now. So
It just sort of wild.
I've been expecting it for a couple of years now.
There was
next thing you know, they'll be getting rid of AOL.
What you talking about, Willis?
Only thing left to AOL is the news service and the email.
Screw you guys! I'm going back to MySpace.
Good luck with that.
It's still there.
It's still there.
Sort of. Yeah.
I know it's still there, but
I remember ICQ and of course AOL.
Yeah.
Because AOL, I literally think the bottom of the Tennessee River is pretty much coated in compact disc from
AOL.
From all the free AOL compact discs that they used to hand out every damn where.
Yeah.
Hello, Carl. Hello, Michaela. I'm sorry I can't type right now. I'm trying to eat. Thesis' show went on not long enough, but very, very long.
Extra innings?
Yeah. Well, you got Nick on there, so there's going to be fascinating conversations.
I'll go one that maybe y'all remember, maybe you don't. Magnavox's Web TV.
I remember it. Never used it.
That's what got me on the internet.
What?
Web TV.
Oh.
Then Comcast came out with, Web TV, and then we went to nothing like welcome. You've got mail. Then we went to Comcast. And now I'm on EPB, and short of EPB being shut down or I've got to leave the city, I ain't going nowhere.
Oh, I forgot to shut the door. Of course, I had two cats in here trying to fight over who gets the bowl of food. So And that bowl is, for the fourth time today, that food bowl is empty. Arr, good Lord. Continue. I mean, I'm still here.
Oh, we went up to Harrison Bay Campground today.
Oh boy.
Just driving around looking. There's 3 RV campgrounds in there.
Okay.
There's section A, B, and C. Section A is for the $500,000 motorhomes.
Yeah.
Section C is for the tag-alongs that, may be 10 years old or a little bit older. And then Section C, it looked like a school bus conversion rally. But I did see something that was cool as hell. I still don't see how there was enough room. The guy says 2 grown adults, and we're talking, he was about the size of Joe Bachman, and his wife was about the size of Trelana. He says, we sleep in the back of it. It's a Tesla Cybertruck.
Really? Now, I remember when they first were talking about bringing that thing out, they showed a camper top for the top of it.
Well, this was a tent in the back of it. But he says, yeah, I'm plugged in charging. He goes, everybody around here's got Wi-Fi. They had little refrigerators set up, powering off of it.
Oh, they were using his Tesla Wi-Fi?
It has Starlink built into it.
Really?
Which I didn't know. Yeah. What else? Oh, and it was wrapped black. It looked good. Says it does 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. He says that's like a sports car. I said 0 to 60 in 2 seconds is a freaking rocket ship. I know, Dan, you don't want a Cybertruck anymore because of the owner.
No, I still want one, but I'm just not going to get one.
Not for $100,000.
I've got much better uses for $100,000.
Me too.
Like living for the next 30 or 40 years.
Yeah. And the people talking about, I'm going to, next Tesla truck I see, I'm going to spray paint it. Yeah, go ahead and do that. There's only 8 cameras that go off when you get within 2 feet of it. And they're all 1080p. What did the truck ever do to you?
Or the truck's owner, for that matter.
Oh.
Sometimes in politics you have to take a stand, but it doesn't mean you got to destroy somebody else's property.
Exactly.
Okay. Of course, you guys know what a multi-barreled minigun is, right?
Yeah.
Because you got the big one, you got the big 30 mic one on the A10. You got the most of the airplanes the U.S. military have the 20 millimeter M61 cannon, and then you've got the little aircraft and boat version, the M134 minigun. They have the XM214 micro gun. It fires 5.56 ammo, the same ammo the M16 fires, and it comes in a man portable pack with a 500 round. I'm sorry, 2 500 round factory pack disposable cassettes on the backpack.
Disposable? You're not allowed to reload them?
Apparently not. Must be plastic or something. 24 volt. The muzzle, or wait, I'm sorry. The rate of fire is variable from 400 rounds per minute to 10,000 rounds per minute. The average rate of fire is 4,000 rounds per minute.
I'd hate to have to feed that thing.
No kidding.
And what size round?
5.56 round. Same thing the M16 fires. Just bitty bullet. Glorified 22. But the gun, the length of the whole gun is actually smaller than a standard M16. About 2/3 smaller, or about 2/3 the size. Excuse me.
Well, you don't need the shoulder roller. The shoulders.
They call it the chainsaw mount because it's got the handles on it where you hold it down by your hip. I saw there's one on a boat mount for shooting off the side of a boat if somebody tries to board your ship. Once.
They're only going to try the once. And Joe Dog, for your information, the Monterey Jack frozen dinners at Dollar General are not anywhere near as good as Taco Bell.
I knew that.
Well, I didn't want to have to drive 30 miles to get to one. So I went 2 miles to the Dollar General.
I'll tell you, Richard Jordan Gatlin knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm. And John Moses Browning knew how to do it really well. All you got to do is
crank faster. Really? All you got to do is crank it faster? Yeah. Well, what if we were to take this electric drill thingy and attach it to the side?
Make sure the batteries are fully charged.
John, you were still in town when Aliens came out, right? '86?
No, I was in Germany. I saw that one in the movie theater in Berlin.
Okay. There was a scene that was cut out.
Yes, the sentry gun scenes.
Yeah.
Which I cannot believe they cut those scenes. But yes, it didn't really add anything to the story. So it was already a fairly long movie.
It's where they were pretty much all carrying mini Gatling guns.
Sort of.
Do what?
Sort of.
Yeah. And then, if you really didn't see the movie the first week it was out, you didn't see them.
No, that's director's cut only.
I mean, they even cut it after the theater.
Oh, that was not what I wanted to do. Let me see here. Excuse me.
Well, Carl, the only thing I know that would be useful for, if I set up a steel plate target in the backyard and tried to make my neighbor jealous because I could actually hit it more often than he can hit his.
I'll tell you what. If you've ever been on a gate guard in a country like Iraq and you're worried about a car bomb, you want all the firepower you can get. Let me tell you.
Hey, a lead wall is is very effective at stopping anything incoming.
See, I would love to have one of those and see it like a terrorist in an armored truck trying to get to your guard post through your guard post in a big, they made their own steel armor for the vehicles to try and get them past the guard post. And I would love to just sit there and literally turn the entire vehicle into Swiss cheese around him, like a Wile E. Coyote cartoon, where the whole vehicle disintegrates and he's just standing there holding what's left of the steering wheel.
How accurate is the barrels on that, or is it just the
volume
law
of
of
fire.
probability that you've got so much coming down range, something's got to hit?
Good question. Mm.
You're muted,
Sorry,
John.
I'm putting a video on stupid o'clock. Yeah, basically it's the spray and pray kind of thing. Now they show it on it's got a lot of muzzle energy because it's throwing so much round down range, but those rounds don't weigh much. So you're not getting a lot of the, Newtonian physics. It's more like hanging onto a rocket engine,
Well, then make it cross it with a Barrett 50 and give it some teeth.
No,
They call that the M30 or whatever.
I remember reading a long time ago when I was up at Fort Knox, and the M1A2 Abrams was coming out. They were already talking about it back then, and the M1 had just come out, and we were pissed off because we still hadn't gotten our M1s yet. We were still running around in M60A3s, and they were talking about all the different. When they announced how the Abrams armor was going to work, everybody started talking about taking their anti-armor weapons and coming up with better anti-armor weapons because of the Abrams. So and there were these big articles in all the trade magazines up at Fort Knox about, well, what do we do, if they start building bigger missiles to take out tanks? And that was where I first heard about that 5.56 minigun, because they were talking about making a mini Sea-Whiz system to go on top of the Abrams. That if you shot a missile at it, that little minigun spin around with some radar and some infrared stuff, thermals and all the sort of sensors they had on it, spin around and scrub your missile out of the sky.
The scrub being the operative word, because there wouldn't be enough left to pick up with a.
Well, I got a feeling the York tank probably did away with that.
This was about the same time. They originally they were going to have the M1 Abrams and the Bradley to back it. The Bradley was what carried the infantry, and then they were going to have the Sergeant York travel along with them to provide close air cover against helicopters, and then the Apaches would come in behind all that and throw missiles at tanks off in the distance. It was this big combined, and then of course the 155 howitzer, self-propelled Paladin. And they were going to have this big combined arms, modern combined arms force that we were going to use. And that lasted all about 10 years, and they started going to light stuff like Strikers and, more mobile.
Yeah, stuff that's actually portable.
Well, Desert Storm showed them, it took us damn near a year to get everything over there to move into Iraq, because we were building up for almost a year before Desert Storm kicked off. And then once we started putting troops on the ground, it was damn near 6 months. And it took us that long to start getting troops on the ground because of the logistics involved. So they wanted faster stuff, lighter, faster, more air transportable. Excuse me.
Bless you.
And I, it's kind of funny. I joined the Army back when the Humvee first came out, and they were still using Jeeps and Gamma Goats when I first joined. And cut these, the Chevy Blazer, and they were talking. The Humvee came out. It was supposed to going to be the new high mobility, get your troops there faster, fresher. And of course, the basic Humvee is a cheap pickup truck. It's
Uh,
it's
so I understand. I
yeah,
have
it's
read
not a
several
it's not
articles.
it's not armor. It's aluminum and vinyl. It's it's a lightweight diesel engine with vinyl wrapped around it to hold the troops in place. And um, then they did, of course, they did have the up armored versions. Of course, they had better suspension and bigger frame,
Well,
reinforced
you
frame.
had to. I mean,
Exactly. And then later, the latest version is damn near 4.5 tons, which is pretty heavy for a pickup truck.
yeah.
And it's lightly armored. It's not heavily armored or anything like that. So they started coming out with all the new MRAP family of vehicles about 2004 or something, in that frame. And so now we got all these funky little Fox vehicles and stuff like that. Not a Fox. No, the Fox is the armored car. I'm trying to remember what they call the. It's the pickup truck MRAP, and I can never remember what the hell they.
I couldn't tell you.
MRAP is the mine-resistant, armor-protected family of vehicles, and everybody remembers Caymans and Rhinos and fun stuff like that. Oh, wait a minute. See, where's that? That's that Oshkosh Defense MATV. That's the one, and that's it looks like a super pickup truck.
So I'm guessing the ATV stands for all-terrain vehicle rather
Yes.
than a little go-kart that you go through mud puddles on.
And basically, it's a. I'll show you here. It's an armored cocoon with truck parts wrapped around it.
I know there was a sizable period of time where a lot of princes from Arabic nations would buy the Lamborghini four-wheel drive because basically it can outrun bullets because it just goes.
They're not that.
Mode.
They're not really that fast, but
100 miles an hour on any terrain, yeah, won't outrun a bullet, but give you a good head start.
The Saudi Arabian Border Patrol uses those. The Lamborghini, Humvee.
Lamu 2.
This is that's that vehicle I was telling you about.
Yeah.
And basically, the cab is armored. Everything outside the cab is fiberglass and truck parts.
What's supposed to go in the back?
It's a cargo bay. It's a
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a pickup truck with the bed removed and some framework on there to hold other stuff.
There's a small bed back there, but the framework is for putting everything. If you look at the very top of the framework in the back, I'm not sure.
Looks like a winch of some kind.
That thing I'm pointing at, I believe is a satellite uplink. And then there's an ammo can holder here, I think.
Outside the armor is a bad place to put an ammo can.
Well, the gun is. They don't have a crew shield on it. I believe
that's true too.
I believe that is the 25 mic.
Respectable.
It's either 20 or 25. I'm not sure which cannon that is, but the framework that's holding it is in the way, and the ammo's in the way, so I can't see the gun. But you can see the electric cord going to the back of it. So that's probably a chain gun. It's a chain gun of some sort, probably the 20. Well, the barrel doesn't look big enough to be a 25 mic, but I might be wrong about that. Doesn't quite look like a Bradley barrel.
You would be the expert, so I am not disputing your professional opinion.
That, and I believe that's a 20 mic ammo cam, but I've never actually seen the 25 mic ammo cans are plastic.
And that definitely does not look like plastic.
Yeah. But they may have come up with a steel one for this type of application that I'm not familiar with, because we didn't have anything. Biggest thing we had on our vehicles was either a Mark 19 grenade launcher or a 50 caliber machine gun.
Now, would the tires on that be solid rubber, or would they be
No,
just air inflated with
they're air inflated.
Kevlar?
They do have a line. They're not Kevlar. It's just regular old. I believe they're Goodyear. Well, it's Oshkosh, so I don't know. Oshkosh. I don't know what tire Oshkosh uses. But they probably have the auto inflate system in it.
Ah,
So if it starts taking bullet hits and losing air, they punch emergency, and the air compressor stays on and keeps pumping air into the tire. It's hard to put run flats on a vehicle that heavy.
yeah, but we do it for armored limousines.
Yeah, but they're not quite as heavy.
Well, you're right about that. I didn't.
And they
think
don't go.
about
And run flat tires do horrible off road. So. Oh yeah, the worst ride you'll ever have in your life.
It's a trade-off.
The worst ride you'll ever have in your life is cold, freezing weather with run flat tires, because the weight of the vehicle creates a bald spot on the bottom of the tire that doesn't come out.
Thump, 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 thump,
Blump,
thump.
blump, 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 blump. You get anything over 20 miles an hour, it'll knock your teeth out the back of your skull.
I know a stretch of 285 like that too. Of course, it has nothing to do with what tires are on my vehicle. It's the construction method of the highway. Joe Dog taking a long time. Did he go to Taco Bell today?
Not that I'm aware of.
We'll know if he comes back holding a toilet paper roll and cussing me for being impatient.
What was the Cheech and Chong movie where they had to go down to Mexico and smuggle back a van that had been painted with marijuana?
Up in smoke?
Was that Up in Smoke?
I'm guessing. I've seen most of them, but it's been college years ago.
I think you're right. I think it was Up in Smoke. But they had to go down to Tijuana to pick it up. And he had one of the burritos. Cheat chat. he's trying to make it to the bathroom. He runs in there, opens the first stall, and there's some guy already in there going, covered in toilet paper.
Good night, Carl. Early shopping trip tomorrow. I went shopping today. Actually, did not get enough stuff, but it was a short list I was handed. I got everything on the list and a couple of things for myself. C'est la vie. Can't see that on a live recording. It was a health-related thing for my immediate family, so they would not like me to comment upon it in public. Just wish us both well, thank you. knowing quite well that she's never going to watch this, I can say I might have done myself a slight damage.
It's kind of I'm sitting there. I found that scene from the Up in Smoke. It is Up in Smoke, by the way, where they're down there, and the people are still down there putting this marijuana paint on the van, or they're coating all the van parts in this marijuana paint. But it's like this thick, so when they get to where they're going, they strip it off, and they got a couple bushels of marijuana. So of course, that was the one with their, they had the thing like they turned themselves in to immigration so that they could be deported back to Mexico and go to their cousin's wedding. Because they couldn't afford to go to Mexico to go to their cousin's wedding.
That wouldn't work very well these days, would it?
It might be. We just don't know. We just don't hear about it.
No.
Trump's in office. We're going on vacation.
I don't think, what is it, Nicaragua, whatever, is close enough to Mexico to be within walking distance, even if you were able to escape from the maximum security prison. Oh, Lord, I need more food. That was not filling enough. Anyway, I'll wait till Joe gets back. Seriously. I can deprive myself of creature comforts on occasion.
All right, I'm back. You can start talking. I can get set down. All right, what do you want?
Oh, we were just talking about tacos.
Hey, Dan. Remember the spring dinners with poke salad and pinto beans and cornbread and what else was it? Okra and corn?
Yes.
Not for my digestive system.
Well, I told you, don't ever eat okra.
Why? Why not?
I love okra.
What's wrong with okra?
It's the poke salad that's got me tore up.
Well, you are eating poisonous greens. I mean, technically.
You have to pick it very, very young.
Yeah.
And
this is young.
Well, you're not going to find any old poke weed. You're not going to find any old poke weed around this time of year.
So. As for the okra, if you had tasted the way my mother cooked it, you'd just rather open a bag of Kingsford and start eating the charcoal briquettes.
I just went and bought.
That's one of the few things Mom couldn't cook.
My old okra seeds didn't come up, so I went and bought some fresh okra seeds today and put those in seedling pods. Bought 3 squash. I could not find any squash seeds. Barely found any okra. They're out. There's been a run on vegetables.
Yes, I can understand. Home gardening.
Flowers they got. Vegetables they.
Yeah, but people can eat flowers, or not many of them. But yeah, home gardening has gotten a huge resurgence in recent months.
They're going to start selling chicks at Ace Hardware down here. I have not seen any yet. If they have had them, they're already gone.
Tractor Supply now limits them to 20.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, guess what I saw at Ingles today? Everybody keeps talking about they can't find eggs. And I have very rarely been to Ingles where the egg supply was low. Okay. Right now, they're good. They got eggs. They have quail eggs. By the
Yeah.
I'd never seen that before. Shocked the heck out of me. I know what they are,
Um,
but I just never seen them.
Usually the only time I see quail eggs is they've already been pickled. And I'm going, no, 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 no.
Is that an
Especially,
Easter? Is that an Easter thing too? Quail eggs, or is that,
I'm, I really
or is
don't
this a
know. I
springtime
mean,
thing? And
I've, I've, uh, I've hunted and eaten more than my body weight in quail, and pheasant, and a lot of other things that medieval kings and queens thought they were alone in being able to devour.
care
But
for
no,
some pigeon. Okay. Anyway,
hey, you go to East Tennessee, you're going to be able to eat like a king, a really old king. Can't promise you a large tongue in aspic, but
oh,
um,
that was one of my favorite scenes from Yellowbeard, was where they're discussing about getting the message off to the queen. They're out at sea on the ship talking about getting the message off to the queen, and guy goes, how, sir? By pigeon, Mansell, by pigeon," and lifts up the tray for his food, and it's a pigeon. It's
spotted Jim. Oh wait, no, I've been watching Rowan Atkinson for too many years.
and it's
Uh,
Eric Idle doing the proper British officer.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Uh, all right, I'm gonna go get something else to stuff my face with while we're on air. Please, nobody get on to me for being rude, but the food that I had earlier today has run its course, and now I need to refill the tank. Um, I shall return briefly, and well, I shall return in a short time, but wherever that thought was going, it no longer got there.
Okay. Let's see. Nico Lamvaliva's Tennessee football career is over after NIL dispute and holdout. Apparently,
Yeah, one of the Tennessee players is requesting a transfer because he wasn't allowed to play as much.
huh. Nico Lambalina is looking for a new school. He was their new starting quarterback too.
John, I got something for you to think about.
Uh-oh.
We were talking about the weapons. And there's a big thing of talking about if China gets on the moon, we're going to have to go to war with China on the moon. Could you imagine trying to shoot a 50 cal on the moon?
Have you ever seen the TV series For All Mankind?
Yeah, it's been a while, but
The
yeah.
Marines took M16. I think it was an M16A4. I might be wrong, but and the guy said, "Well," and they landed, and the astronaut pilot looked at the Marine, and goes, "You might want to test fire that weapon." He goes, "Why?" He says, "Make sure it works on the moon. They've never tested them on the moon."
Yeah.
So brings it up. Pow! See, it works. She goes, "You might want to take 2 steps to the left." He goes, "Why?" He says, "Moon has very light gravity and no atmosphere. That bullet would just keep going in orbit all the way around the moon, come around, and hit you right in the back." And everybody laughed, and she didn't flinch. She was like, and that young Marine moved out of the way.
Yeah.
Which is not true. There is just a very thin atmosphere, and there's mountains, so it's gonna hit something before it gets around the moon.
Well, they're saying
Might break orbit though.
Probably would break orbit. That would be enough velocity to break orbit.
Let me see, 3,100 feet per second muzzle velocity in our atmosphere. You put it on the moon, that's going to bump that up. So you're probably looking at about 3,500 feet per second muzzle velocity. No appreciable atmosphere to speak of. And 1/6 gravity, about a 2.5 mile range with gravity. So that would give it about 1/6 gravity. Give it about 6 times 12. About 15. It would go. It'd probably get up about 15 miles where it started losing lots of enough velocity to try and fall back to the moon. So.
Well, the thing is, it loses velocity because of the atmosphere.
But it also gravity's constant, so there's a drop. That's why bullets hit the Earth, is the gravity pulls them back down. And yes, the atmosphere does slow it down, but if you fire it away from the moon in any direction, the gravity's still going to grab it and try and pull it back toward the moon. So.
Well, they say, was it Shepard or Gordon that hit the golf ball on the moon?
Oh, I know it was one of them, but I don't remember which one.
Yeah. Well, they asked, the scientists have looked at the frame rates and all that. They estimate, brush your beard, Dan.
Sorry.
They're estimating he got 2 kilometers out of it.
It was Alan Shepard.
2-kilometer golf shot.
Let me see.
Well, with the number of craters around there, you probably got a hole in one.
Sand trap.
I ain't going after it. I know those lunar rovers. They weren't designed to climb slow.
Okay. He actually hit several golf balls.
He took 3. First one dribbled out.
Yeah. First one went about 24 yards. The second one went about 40 yards. And they think the last one, let me see. On Earth, atmosphere and a good, proper gear and stuff like that. Average male hits a 216-yard shot. Average amateur male golfer. The average female golfer, amateur female golfer, 148 yards. Of course, those distances have increased slightly since Shepard's flight.
Yeah.
This was back in 71. So apparently he only hit 2 balls. Well, of course, every guy's got 2 balls. So he didn't hit them that darn far.
And he wasn't very well.
No, that was.
Trying to make a swing like that in a spacesuit one-handed.
With a modified soil collecting gizmo.
Well, there's no way you can sneak a 5-iron onto an Apollo capsule. That would look a little bit suspicious.
But they've all left pictures on the moon. A family.
Mm-hmm.
They're there forever.
Like my dad's fingerprints.
It's on some of them.
He actually was a machinist in charge of making parts for lunar rovers. So some of those gears and cogs and things have my dad's fingerprints on them.
I wonder about that now that you mention it. I think, doesn't all that stuff get sterilized before they send it into space? I know they do. Everything going in space now gets scrutinized and cleaned up.
Well, knowing my family's biochemistry, they'd already probably etched themselves into the steel.
It's kind of hard to pull the gearbox apart to wipe the fingerprints out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I've heard some people say if our astronauts go back to the landing sites, if they got batteries, they can drive the rovers back.
NASA has requested that no one, if anyone goes to the moon, don't go anywhere within 75 yards of the original Apollo landing sites.
Mm-hmm. There's may he rest in peace, a professional writer who was a good friend of mine online. He proposed that future missions would spray the footprints in the ground around the landing sites with a thick layer of some impermeable epoxy, which we have not developed yet. Doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's been too long for that, though. That's the problem. Most of those footprints have been obliterated by now.
Just the micrometeorites and all that?
No, just dust. There's still dust. When the ascent module took off, it blew up enough dust to cover a lot of that. I mean, you probably barely see any of it anymore. So. Would be interesting to go look, though.
Well, the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter has got detailed photos of the sites.
The
flags are white.
Yeah. From the UV. The ones that didn't get knocked down by the ascent module going back up.
Well, they learned from the first one. Apollo 11 knocked the flag over. All the rest of them, they realized you need to put the flag farther out. They didn't think at first they thought there wasn't any atmosphere at all on the moon, so that when the rocket ascent module went off, there wasn't enough atmosphere for it to react with to blow anything over. That was what they were thinking. Of course, trying to get a flag planted in the moon in a spacesuit probably wasn't an easy job either. So now they know there is a ever so slight atmosphere on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a foot or a foot and a half tall, depending on where you're at. And it's so thin you can barely see it. And the only way they can tell it's there is dust. There's nothing to hold the dust in the air, so the dust slowly drops every time they do something that creates dust. But when it gets real close to the ground, it sort of slows down.
Yeah, they need to give future astronauts one of those asphalt testing tools like Joe Bachman uses, where it just bam, 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 down into the.
I know they got to be careful about weight and all that, but you'd think they'd have some sort of gizmo for putting spikes in the soil.
Well, and it wouldn't even have to be brought back.
Well, if you're going to take soil samples. I believe I've seen them use some sort of drill to drill into the moon to get a core sample or something like that. But, that sort of thing, you think they'd have some sort of gizmo for that sort of stuff. So. I'm surprised the lunar rover didn't have something like that.
That would probably be a better option. Except they were really, really lightweight. Dad called them go-karts.
Didn't they weigh like 200 or 300 pounds total?
I don't have the faintest idea, but from watching them drive around, it looked like The average guy could just pick one up over his head and tote it over a ridge if he wanted to.
Most of the weight was batteries.
Mm-hmm.
Where's our Zach when we need him?
No kidding. Somebody call it. Wait. Isn't that my job?
Wait a minute. You get paid for this? Do I have to work for a promotion? No, wait. Never mind. That comes with responsibilities. I'd rather not. Um,
Boy, Gatlin lived a long life.
Who, Larry or Charles?
Richard. Born in 1818, died in 1903.
Yeah.
That's a long life. I mean, even
Darn it.
my,
I'm trying to find something about the old NASA moon rover, but everything's new moon rovers. Yeah, so let's try Apollo. Oh,
Yeah.
lunar roving vehicle. Let's see, the last three missions, 15, 16, and 17. Let's see.
and one guy said I was 250,000 miles away from any other car, and I wrecked it.
Let's see here. Built by Boeing. That'll tell you something. Let's see. Had a mass of 462 pounds without payload. It could carry a maximum payload of 970 pounds, including 2 astronauts, equipment, and cargo, such as lunar samples. At a top speed of 6 miles an hour. Although it achieved a top speed of 11.2 miles per hour on its last mission, Apollo 17.
Yeah, that was the one to where he jumped it.
Let me see. Well, let me think.
Show a redneck an inclined plane, and he'll take a vehicle over the top of it and see how far he can clear.
462 pounds. 462 divided by 6 equals. So the effective weight on the moon with the moon's gravity would have been 77 pounds.
Yeah. Pick it up and tote it. Hey, you could probably take a shovel and throw dirt in orbit.
Do y'all remember the show Eagle One?
Salvage one.
Salvage One. You think that might be why NASA implemented the 75-yard rule?
Possibly.
Dan, do you remember the premise of the movie?
Yeah, go collect space junk and bring it back and sell it for junk.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of that
Crap
stuff
parts.
had gold. A lot of that stuff had gold in it.
Joe Dog doesn't check to see what it's got in it. He just grabs it and sells it.
Oh, yeah, I do. I get stuff that's, copper and brass. I'll cut the copper off to brass. Because they'll charge me the brass price for all the copper, too.
Which is more rewarding to turn in for salvage?
All of it. But copper's known as red gold.
Okay. That answers that question.
And then brass, then aluminum.
Hell, I go through enough aluminum every month where you'd be able to afford to drive down here and pick up my bags. Can't get a good price for it around here. Too many people are picking up everything from the sides of the road in the ditches and whatnot.
Yeah, number one copper, which is like your copper pipe without any solder or anything on it, is $3.07 a pound.
Mm-hmm.
Your insulated copper wire, like your house wiring with all that, is $1.78. Your cords without the ends on them is 99 cents a pound. Yellow brass is 207. Aluminum cans is 66.
That's almost like the old days.
Yeah. Clean aluminum wheels is 85 cents a pound. 304 stainless steel is 30 cents a pound. And just scrap metal is $7.50 a hundred. So that's like 75 cents a pound.
Something like that.
That's not bad.
Well, that's what I used to get for aluminum cans back in the day, before everybody decided that we're broke, we're going to walk the ditches and pick up aluminum cans, some of which had been there for 30 or 40 years, and some of which got rejected because they were actually tin and not aluminum. Different price for tin.
Yep.
Shows this cook, he's making croissants. He's got an electric drill with a fork on it, and he picks up each piece, puts it on there, and spins the croissant up.
I know at least 2 online cooks that use battery operated drills as mixers.
Yep.
Cowboy Kent for them pinto beans.
Cowboy Kent and what's the Portuguese guy's name? I can't remember. Andre, I do believe.
I have used it on certain applications where my mixer was too big to get in the bowl.
Mm.
Just take one of the mixing spoons and run it down. Of course, you got to clean the drill really good first.
That's when you put the cone of shame on it.
It's a brand new drill.
Well, you make a little cone of shame.
Sometimes I wonder why I'm not embarrassed to be known as I know these guys.
Well, it's the best way to describe it.
No, and it's also eminently practical. It's such a redneck thing. I wish I'd thought of it and copyrighted it.
Hey, there is nothing more inventive than a broke redneck and something tore up.
You either wind up with a child's drawing of a pickup truck or a landmaster from Damnation Alley.
What is that? Best Years of Our Lives. There's a movie called Best Years of Our Lives. It's about a bunch of World War II veterans coming back from World War II. Famous movie. Won Oscars, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this one scene where the bombardier couldn't find a job. Him and his wife are getting divorced, and just all sorts of stuff like that. And he winds up, he hitchhikes out to Monmouth, Air Force or Army Air Force base,
Okay.
and it's the Boneyard.
Oh, yeah.
And he walks up there, and there's all these B-17s and B-24s and B-29s sitting out there.
I can make something out of that.
So he goes, and there's not a fence around the place. So he goes over there and finds one of the old B-17s, like the one he used to fly in World War II. He goes up, and he used to be the bombardier. So he's sitting up there, and he's having flashbacks. He's sitting in the bombardier seat having flashbacks. Some guy goes up, knocks on the window, and goes, "Hey, buddy, get out of there." He says, "Sorry, I was just reliving some old memories." The guy goes, "Oh, veteran, huh?" He says, "Yeah, well, you stayed in there much longer. You've been scrap metal." And he says, "What are y'all doing?" He says, "Oh, we're taking all the planes apart, and we're using them to build housing materials." He says, "What?" "Oh, yeah, they're going to build new homes out of all this aluminum stuff." He goes, "You hiring?" And then he goes, "What can you do?" He says, "Well," he says, "I can learn."
I'm good at learning. Yeah.
But it got me to thinking one time, I would have loved to have found, there's this movie with Elliot Gould, it's an old Disney movie, where he's flying a B-29 cargo conversion airplane and winds up crashing it onto a desert island with all these kids and this woman on board and all their pet animals and stuff. And they turned the B-29 into a raft to get off the island. Okay. And I was sitting there looking at that one day. I was going, B-29 fuselage would make a really interesting camper if you mounted it on a truck frame. Because it'd be kind of like it would look like an Airstream from the back.
Yeah.
People passed it, there'd be that big glass nose up front. You'd be up top in the pilot seat driving the RV.
There's a few out there.
Don't know if they're B-29s, but I have seen photographs of several. I don't know whether they're called vacation homes or just houses built out of the bodies of planes with the wings removed. And they're quite deluxe on the inside. If you're into the narrowboat lifestyle where you live your entire life in one long, tiny corridor.
Well, the Lisa Marie, Elvis's jet,
yeah,
is now a motorhome.
The old Convair plane, the big one, or the little. He had a. I think Lisa Marie was the Convair, if I'm not mistaken. But he had a Lockheed Jetstar, which is the big 4-engine Learjet with the huge fuel tanks on the wings.
No, this was the one that had it was 4 engines, but there were 2 together on each side back at the tail.
That would have been the Lockheed Jetstar.
Okay, yeah, that's what it is. Guy bought it at an auction for $200,000.
I was about to say, hang on a second, let me bring this up.
And then had 48 hours to get it off the property.
Okay.
Had no engines.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That was the big problem with it. But what was funny was the VHS player still worked. That's the Lisa Marie. That's the Convair 880. That's sitting at Graceland.
Yeah. No, it was the red one.
Let me see. Elvis Lockheed Jetstar camper. Oh, there it is. Okay, guess what?
You found a picture of it as
a camper. Let me see. Ooh, that's kind of cool looking. It's almost like your Landmaster there. Let me see here. That's interesting. Let's see here.
Now, there's a video about it on
Yep, several actually.
YouTube.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, how cute.
It's how depressing.
He rolled up to Graceland, and an old security guard ran out, beating on the side, going, "Go, go, go! Don't leave it here. Go! Don't even get out. Go!"
Wonder why.
There is history on that plane, and none of it good for Elvis.
So
Red
basically,
velvet seat.
what you're saying is that was the flying bedroom.
No. Yeah, that's what it looked like when he found it. And had 48 hours to get that off the property. It ended up with FBI investigations of money laundering, international arms dealers, and a shell company money laundering. And Elvis had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
It's an interesting story.
I think the closest Elvis ever got to a shell company is buying gas at a local service station.
That is what a Lockheed Jetstar is supposed to look like. Got the two big fuel tanks under the wings, 4 engines. It's basically the big brother to the Learjet.
I still think it's kind of cute.
Actually,
they're awesome.
Actually, you see the baby blue stripe?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
Yes.
Do you, Dan?
No, I don't.
There are times that thing's called Air Force One.
Actually, I believe that one's normally called Air Force 2 or 5 or something like that. I don't know if they were.
Yeah, well, it's the presidential plane when they're flying into small areas.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Because there are some places you just cannot land a jumbo jet.
And from stories I've heard, that thing has landed at the Collegedale Airport as Air Force One. And needless to say that there have been stories that boxes of Little Debbie's were on it when it left.
Didn't involve a certain fellow from Plains, Georgia, did it?
No, it involved a Californian in the early 70s.
Yeah. The fellow from Georgia would have been Peanut Brittle, probably.
No, I believe he was a Little Debbie's fan too. So.
Depends on whether or not he had his good dentures in or not.
Yeah, y'all heard of Cletus McFarland, right?
Yes, I do watch his videos.
Have you heard about his last Freedom 500? The flyover for the national anthem?
No.
They were RC planes. There were B-17s and B-29s with at least a 20-foot wingspan.
Oh.
In formation.
Bring that up, Joe. These are the kids from the Breakfast Club.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony Michael Hall discovered eating.
Oh, he ain't that big. I mean, he's fairly much. He was he played. He was in a detective show. He's fairly muscular. He turned into kind of a bruiser.
Yeah. He's in season 3 of Reacher.
Yeah. Plays the villain.
He plays the villain that's not really the villain.
Might
I
be.
think I think Carl left too soon. He would have really appreciated the photo of the redhead there.
Oh,
Redneck? Oh God, Dan, you've been in Georgia entirely too long.
uh, Molly Ringwald.
Yeah,
So what was that? A reunion?
Yeah, they had a little reunion picture.
probably.
I mean, shit. It's been what 40 years since the Breakfast Club. Getting close.
Getting close if it's not already passed. Yeah. Ah. All right, I'll be right back.
All right.
I got to put my cottage cheese back in the fridge before it goes bad.
All right. Put the cottage cheese back because you got about 16 minutes.
It's not going to take me that long. I've got a little bitty house.
Well, you got to step over the dog too. Oh.
That's kind of cute.
What's cute?
It's the Tank Museum in Bovington, Wareham, UK, and they're showing what looks like an old World War One tank, one of the old male tanks that they called it. They had two, male and a female, and it's got the guns on the side, and it's got this little port, and there's a hatch on top that's open while this thing is driving down range. And it is a carrier pigeon carrier. It's a tank for moving forward with a bunch of carrier pigeons on board.
To report back.
They go up, look around, and then report back by releasing a carrier pigeon.
And by the end of the war, the Germans started shooting every pigeon they saw.
See, now I'd been a smart ass. So I'd gone down to the flower store down in town and bought a bunch of those little fake pigeons. You know, just like put them on sticks and every so often throw one up in the air right above the trench line just to get them waste ammo. I got one. There it is again. And again.
There goes one without a head. Oh, did you see that one explode? Oh. Probably why the carrier pigeon was on. No, it's passenger pigeons, the one that's extinct, right?
Yeah, correct. Oh, this is interesting. Let me see here. Let's see if I can, oh, good. It's got a good big picture. I typed in moon buggy looking for that moon buggy thing.
Yeah.
Guess what my feed is full of now?
Moon buggy pictures.
Oh yeah. This one's kind of cute. Bring that up. Okay, from a company called Lunar Outpost. Let's see. Oops, wrong one. Oh, there we go. It's from Popular Science Magazine's webpage. All-terrain space truck hopes to drive astronauts on the moon. See, now I'm curious. That thing looks, I can't tell how big it is. It doesn't look that big. It looks like a golf cart, maybe. But I was trying to figure out.
A side by side, a stretch side by side.
Yeah, it's basically.
with a cargo bed.
Yeah. Goodyear tires. So it's actually going to have tires too.
Yeah, that's for here on Earth.
Do make you wonder, huh?
Yeah. Do you know what would happen if you took those tires up into space?
They blow to heck no well. That's actually no, they probably wouldn't do too bad. Probably they had to have a vent, of course.
Well,
But
if you took them up, what you would have to do is leave the valve stems out of them.
No, it's NASA. They probably got a multi-million-dollar valves tool thing just for changing the pressure in the tires.
Or just foam fill them and be done with it.
Well, the original moon rovers didn't have anything in the tires.
Yeah, they were wires.
It was a stainless steel screen.
Yeah. Oh, the Curiosity rover. Did you hear what the guys at JPL did?
No.
And the original design of the wheels, it had the JPL logo
In the tread.
in the tread. And NASA goes, no. You're not stamping any logos on the moon.
On Mars. Yeah.
On Mars. Oh, okay. So they came back with this new design of there are 3 little cleats in the wheels. It's like a track. There's 3 tracks with holes in them, 2 solid, and then the 2 solid, 3, the 2 solid. For some reason, it was the Morse code letters for JPL. Dan, that sounds like something I would do, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
And when Perseverance landed, NASA caught on to them between Curiosity and Perseverance. It says, you're not doing that with the treads this time. All the treads had to be. They said, okay.
They put it on the parachute.
Yeah, they put it in the parachute. One parachute, the way it's arranged out is J, the other one's P, the other one's L, and the 4th one was the coordinates of JPL on Earth. You bastards.
Might as well paint one of them up with a giant middle finger. I can hear Lindsay screaming at the dog right now because the dog will not let her sleep.
What, the dog thinks it's belly rub time?
No. The dog thinks that whichever cat that just came in is something to chase around the house.
I'll never forget what happened to us about 9 years ago, Dan.
Yeah.
I was laying in the bed and I woke up to the most cute, lovey, fluffy cat I'd ever seen in my life. You know what the problem was? We didn't have a cat.
I've done that a time or two in my life as well.
Okay. Um,
Don't let them inside. I know what I'm like. They'll be ours forever. Yes, and the next two generations as well before I was able to afford to get all of them fixed.
Oh,
this is interesting.
well,
Let's see. The Vanguard 1 space satellite is
still in orbit.
the oldest artificial object still silently orbiting Earth. It was launched back in 1958. It was the first satellite to be powered by solar cells. Let's see here.
It worked to what, 63?
There is a team at Virginia-based consulting firm Booz Allen Hamilton. They have a bold proposition: bringing it home. They got a paper out outlining a potential two-part mission involving rendeverous inspection and possible capture for study and display.
And it's the whole thing ain't but about this big.
It ain't a very big satellite.
It'll fit through the hatch of a Dragon.
If you take the antennas off. Well, wait a minute. I guess those antennas got to be flexible, huh?
Yeah.
Fold up like an AM radio. Which they probably were.
Hey, if nothing else, if you brought it back, it would be a great study for metallurgical study for, metals in space for damn near 70 years.
Mm-hmm. And how much cosmic rays would affect the
Integrity.
radioactivity of the metal? Of course, it'd probably become the newest member of the Fantastic Four, but
Hey, there are 4 people on the Dragon. Yeah, no, leave it up there. Just leave it up there.
we don't want a lawsuit for Marvel Comics, all right? Oh.
I can hear Stanley now. Guys, it's a warning, not a playbook.
Kind
of like 1984, yeah.
Yeah.
The estimated decay of its orbit, 2198.
So we got a
while.
We got a while.
Oh, this is interesting. It's aluminum. 6 inches in diameter with antennas spanning 3 feet. It's about 1.5 feet, about 1 foot long on each side, something like that. And 6 solar cells.
Yeah, we'd be lucky if it's not transparent aluminum by this time.
I like this. No, we got to bring it back now. There's a moral imperative. Okay. Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev called it the grapefruit satellite. Oh, wow. There's a newsreel.
So basically, not only are we the first nation to put a satellite in a constant orbit, we're going to be the first company able to retrieve the oldest satellite in a constant orbit.
Oh my God. I'm sitting here looking at the newsreel of them getting ready to launch this thing. And at the bottom of I think it's on a Jupiter rocket, and at the very base of the rocket it says, "Have ball, will travel." How did NASA let them get away with that? I mean, of course, I imagine that was Air Force. Actually, I don't think there was a NASA back then.
Well, at that time, wasn't the big TV show Have Gun Will Travel?
That was one of them. Yeah.
That was one of them.
Let me see. When was NASA started?
Hey, guys, we are getting up to time to
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Oh, it was manufactured by the Navy. Did it? That explains it.
All right, with that, guys, let's say good night, everybody.
Good night,
Good night,
everybody.
everybody.
We'll see y'all Thursday night. You have been warned. Bye.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.